what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Foot Candle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Foot Candle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. With me is Chris Fry, and we are both of the Foot Candle Film Society and directors of the Foot Candle Film Festival. And this is Foot Candle Films. When we have a word we like using, we put it into everything we're involved with. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, we try to, that way it's easier to remember, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Foot Candle is one of those words where once you get it in your head, you don't really forget it easily. So that's good.
Right.
That's good. Well, here on Foot Candle Films, we are reviewing films and we're talking some movie news and some recommendations for you. Today's show, we do have a film review where we're going to be discussing a Minecraft movie. Made huge amount of money over the weekend, Chris. I don't know if you saw that or not, like $150 million for the weekend.
I did kind of take notice that it seemed to be doing well. Actually, okay. Movie theaters are complex places. They have a lot of moving parts. I've never worked at one, but I understand, lots of employees, you got to do concessions, you got to start the films, you got to do it, I assumed it had been a big weekend for a Minecraft movie because when I went to go see it, just saw it we're recording on Monday. I saw it Sunday night. The restroom was trashed. It looked like there had been a fraternity party in the restroom. Yeah. So I'm assuming because, and the employees seem to be a little harried. So assuming it had been a big weekend at the box office.
Well,
so good for cinemas.
That's those Minecraft fans for you. They are just a rowdy bunch, just tearing the trash in the place. No, it was a big weekend for this film. Let's join in discussing the film. Let's review it and see if we felt like the big jackpot it scored was warranted or not. We're going to be discussing Minecraft movie here in a minute. Then when we come back after that, we'll have a little bit of some newbie news. Got a couple of trailers to play. Kind of excited about that. Some trailers of films that are being teased coming up. The news item I have, Chris, I had to verify several places to ensure it was not an April Fool's joke because it just sounded so insanely cool.
Oh,
but I had to verify it. And as far as I can tell, it is verified.
It's a true thing. Okay.
Even though it was released on April Fool's Day, like the news was. But I verified. That's what I was verifying right before we started to hit the record button. I had to verify, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
And then I do believe you have a recommendation also for us by the end of the episode. Great. So we have a lot to cover, a lot to get into. But first, let's start crafting. Let's get into our review of a Minecraft movie.
Minecraft trailer, take 2.
I am Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines, but something always got in the way.
Go on! Get out of here!
But the call of the mines was too strong. So one day, I started digging and digging until I found this. A wonderland where anything you can imagine is possible. As long as what you imagine can be built out of blocks. Atta boy!
Writer-director Jared Hess, director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, has returned to the big screen with the big budget adaptation of the Minecraft video game. Jack Black, Jason Momoa, Danielle Brooks, Sebastian Hansen, and Emma Myers play a motley group of individuals pulled through a mysterious portal into a bizarre cubic wonderland that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they'll have to master this world while embarking on a quest. Alan, how was your experience with this adventure in Overworld? I think I'm using that term correctly. I
guess so too. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, Minecraft movie. All right, just full disclaimer, going to lay it out there. I know. I get it. This movie is not for me. It is not made for me.
You did not play Minecraft growing up.
I did not.
Okay.
Minecraft did not exist. I mean, honestly, a lot of computers did not exist as we were growing up. So, it's a whole new thing here.
Right.
Although I do have 3 boys, and all 3 of them at some place or point did play Minecraft.
Okay.
So I'm at least familiar of the game
Gotcha.
or the video experience. I get it. I understand the basic mechanics. But I wholly understand sitting in this movie theater. I realize this is not a movie geared for me. So I have to review it from the sense of, does it work as a movie? And is it going to work for people that it is marketed to?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm going to tell you, no, it didn't work for me. But
yeah.
I get it. And I can step back and try to look at it from a more holistic standpoint. That being said, I think it's partially successful
Okay.
in that, all right, I think the parts that work in this film really work. And I think the parts that don't, it is just like any other CGI, animated, real person hybrid cartoon, based on a pre-existing IP.
Gotcha.
It's very similar. Okay. There's a lot that's very, yep, this is the same kind of thing we see in other movies. And, they're relying on the world of Minecraft to spark any originality the film can have. And the bulk of the film didn't work from that standpoint. However, I will say I'm going to give this film props because I think from a casting perspective, I think they did pretty good on 2 roles in particular. Well, 3 roles. I'm going to give props to 3. I think the reason for me to say that I was able to stay so slightly engaged in this film
Okay.
all comes down to a Mr. Jason Momoa. I'll give some props to Jack Black, although Jack Black is basically doing Jack Black like Jack Black does. I mean,
And if you like that, then
if you like it,
Right.
he's great.
right. Sure.
And I thought Danielle Brooks was also good. I think the 3 of them, the 3 adult humans that they cast in this, I thought for me kept the film at least engaging and entertaining enough that I didn't doze off or I didn't like just constantly roll my eyes in frustration because I don't understand what's going on. So I'll give it props for that. I think the casting was pretty smart with those 3 roles. Outside of that, there wasn't a lot here. There were 3 or 4 moments of really good inspired comedy that I did find myself laughing. And I guess I got to credit. Did Jared Hess write it also? He didn't
Actually,
write it.
he normally does write and direct his films, but this one he directed, obviously, but he did not write it.
Yeah.
So
But I got a
Napoleon
feeling some of
Dynamite-
his. I got a feeling some of his sensibility
Sensibilities,
kind of
yeah.
crept into the script
Sure.
a little bit in a few places. There's a couple points I could point
Oh.
out. I'm like, oh yeah, that was really smart. That was really funny. That was good. But they were few and far between. And you can only marvel at Jason Momoa's character for so long before that stick kind of ran a little dry by the end too. So anyway, overall, I'm going to give the film a pass. It wasn't for me. It wasn't great, but I do understand if people are a fan of the game, they probably got a lot out of it. And I think they probably had a really good, at least the audience I was in, the theater I was in, had a really good time with it. So, I'll give the film a pass. I'm not going to bash it. I'm not going to say it was a bad film because I think it worked for some people. It's not for me.
Sure.
But I had enough interesting things with some of the characters, some fun with it to at least keep me somewhat engaged. Chris, your thoughts on a Minecraft movie?
So similarly, I had a son who was huge into Minecraft. He played it a lot. We actually had a birthday that was all themed around Minecraft. So I was familiar with it. And I think it's hard because, like you say, this movie is not made for me. It's a PG film too. So they're trying to make it more broad for like families can go see it. And I think the expectation, unfortunately, that had been set for me, as I saw a critic who I like and respect, he'd kind of mentioned on Blue Sky, hey, this is a lot more like the Lego movie than people are giving it credit for, which when I hear that, I'm like, okay, because Lego Movie was my favorite movie of the year that it came out, and was also one that I went into like, I don't want, Lego, who cares? And then I saw it and I was like, whoa, that was actually really inventive, really creative. And they took, it was an IP, but they took something that, and they actually made, it was really creative. Similarly, like go all the way back to something like Pirates of the Caribbean, had no interest, but then people were like, no, it's actually good. And I was like, a movie about a ride at Disney World? No, much more than that. So with Minecraft, I was like, okay, they're taking that idea. And then I saw the names attached. And I was like, okay. So I was hoping selfishly for like a Lego movie type experience. And this was not that. And got to be pretty clear that it wasn't going to be that maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the movie. Yeah. That said, there were little things here and there that I did think were, that did make me laugh. Did I laugh? Yes. Did I want to laugh more? Yes. Especially considering Momoa, especially considering those three that you called out, Jack Black, Jason Momoa, Danielle Brooks. I had anticipated more of it. And it was, I guess there was more silliness as opposed to more actual like comedy joke, if that makes sense. And there again, for younger audiences, that is more entertaining. Probably, I just, see it. And I'll say too, that I think this suffers from, for me, too big of a cast. What if you lopped off the two kids, Sebastian Hansen, Emma Myers? They're fine. And they have the roles to play like they're the ones that are, but if you lop them off and just had the three, Danielle Brooks, Jason Momoa, Jack Black, and it actually, to me, would have added another level of funniness because it's like, no, these are three adults romping around in this video game who don't have any idea what they're doing, except for Jack Black plays the Steve character of Minecraft who's actually been in this world and does know what he's doing. Sure. But then you get the Momoa character and Danielle Brooks playing, let's see, their character names were Dawn. And then, of course, as you mentioned, Garrett. Yes. The garbage man, which funny. But it was like, that was an element. It was like, okay, here's some adult humor and we're going to make this thing. But then they just kept using it. It's like, okay, you do it once, do a callback twice, 3 times. But then by the third time, you're like, okay, and now we're done with that.
That's the thing. I gotta talk about Jason Momoa just for a bit because I do feel like, his character in the role they wrote for him, Garrett, who is a kind of a washed up, he was a video game champion.
Yes.
He's now completely washed up and has a store that's about to get evicted. He tries to just find any kind of way he can to make money, and it's self-help courses he's leading, which I thought was hysterical. I mean, it's just, there was so much setup on his character. I'm like, oh, this is good. I'm like, I really like what they're doing with this guy. I like the fact they're kind of playing Jason Momoa against type, and it's great. It's good. He's good.
He's a loser.
He's good in the role too. He kind of exudes this fake confidence that that's really infectious to watch.
Right.
But by late in the film, you're just like, okay, but you're really not doing anything more with it, and it's kind of run its course. By about halfway through the film.
Right.
Same with Danielle Brooks as Dawn. Again, such a shame because the moments she has in the film are really good, but I think she's just overlooked and wasted really quickly too.
Agreed.
And I get you got to have the young kid in there because.
But what if you didn't?
I know. Believe me, I'd be happy without it.
Right.
Nothing against Sebastian Hansen as Henry. He's good, but. And then to have his older sister in there too, it's like, it is just a lot more. And especially when they end up like splitting up the team at one point.
Terrible.
I know. I'm just like, okay. So you basically took one person I like in one team and you take one person I like in another team. Now they're split up and they're not together. And it just, you know why they're doing it.
To make the movie longer.
To make the movie longer and to have more things going on simultaneously that they can go on. But it just wasn't as entertaining. So
no, it was not.
At least with Jack Black and Jason Momoa, later in the film, they started to build a little bit of chemistry between those two that I found somewhat entertaining. And by the end, there's an end sequence where it's kind of like, here's where everybody is now and whatever. And they do get a musical number that I found to be fun. And, only because it's Jack Black doing his music thing and
his PG rated Tenacious D.
But because getting to see Jason Momoa kind of join in, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So, but it was, it had its moments. It definitely had its moments. And I just wish there were more of those moments to carry the film as a whole. So,
So-
outside of that, it is running away from CGI creatures. It is, oh gosh, the opening 5 minutes where it's Jack Black's narration.
Narrating
just
all the setup.
exposition of everything was horrible.
That was pretty painful.
I was honestly at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to hate this movie.
Right.
I'm already ready to hate this movie.
Agreed.
You've spent 5 minutes detailing all of these words and creatures and weird things. It's like with no entertainment value. It's just, I'm going to tell you everything about Minecraft so that way you're not lost. And I'm like, no, it actually hurt. This has actually made it worse.
I'd rather discover some things
Yes.
and not have it
Yes,
narrated. No, I was
exactly.
the same. I was like, oh dear.
Yeah,
like that's
that
what
looked
I
really
said. It was
bad.
the first 20 minutes or so when I knew it wasn't going to be Lego. No, it was the setup that I was
Yeah.
like,
that
oh, man.
exposition setup was wretched.
Yeah,
And
it's not
got me
good.
really worried. When it got out of that phase and actually got to the learning about the characters,
Right.
There was some interesting moments there. I like that.
Agreed.
It got into the Minecraft world, and I think there was a few moments where it was like some fun exploration of people trying to figure out where they are, what's going on. But after a while, it just became, okay, well, no, now we're going to go show you how to do this. And now we got to go to this place. And now we got to find this item. And it's like, there was just no fun in it. It was just, no, you're checking the boxes because you want to mention these things that everybody in the audience is going to recognize that are fans of the game. And they're all going to clap and cheer when they hear, oh, they just said this thing or this creature just showed up. And I'm like, yeah, but it means nothing to the rest of us. And it's just playing fan service.
Right.
But not actually generating anything fun. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's there. I can look at the film and say there were a couple of moments where I really did have fun and I thought it was funny and it was good moments, but I wish that they weren't, few and far between. And I just wish the rest of the film didn't feel this need to just go into this formulaic. I mean, we had the Jumanji movies that were redone. About 4 or 5 people kind of getting sucked into a video
Yes.
game, and they have to go on this
Jack
quest.
Black was in those.
They had to go find certain things to
Yes.
be able to do this. It's like, yeah, it's like that's what this film just fell into. It's like we got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We have a quest. We got to go do this thing. We got to find this one item that's going to help us do this thing, and then do this. And it's like we're just going to have people, just bicker and react to the surroundings the whole time. And that's basically the film. And that was pretty boring after a while. So, yeah.
Yeah, and yes, and interesting. I talked about how what if, because while I was watching this film, I could see parts of it I liked, so I didn't immediately say, "Oh, I hate it. I'm dismissing it out of hand." But I kept thinking, what would make this better? And the first thing was, okay,
Smaller cast.
nothing wrong with the cat, nothing wrong with the kid, the younger people playing the younger kids, but I don't need them.
We don't need them.
So delete them. Then, believe it or not, even though I think they were both good. So if we wanted to keep the kids, because I understand this is marketed towards kids, so kids being on screen makes the kids more
Helps them a little
engaged.
bit, yeah.
So I get that. So even though I liked both of them, they both had good moments. I'd say, okay, how about either keep Jack Black or keep Jason Momoa? Because in a way, they were competing for me.
They were
and
competing
not in
for
a
the
good way.
same laugh. Yeah,
if
you're
they
right.
had if they had the back and forth patter of screwball comedy or whatever, cool. But instead, they were kind of the same because Jack Black, he admit, at the beginning of the movie, he's like, yeah, I'm kind of a loser. I wanted to escape into this world. And then you have Jason Momoa, okay, playing loser as well. Both funny in their own way,
Yeah.
but then it's like they're basically doing the same thing.
No, you're right. You're
which
right. Yeah.
detracted from it for me.
Yeah. Could it have been a funny movie with Jason Momoa and Daniel Brooks? The two of them kind of playing a little bit of an odd couple, kind of making their way into
And
the
then
Minecraft
throw
world.
the kids in there because the kids got to be in there.
Or at least one kid.
Or one kid.
Just
yeah.
one kid.
So three people. Yeah.
3 people.
Yeah.
That could have been fun.
Yeah.
That could have worked.
I think so.
Yeah, I got to say, don't get rid of Jason Momoa.
Okay.
The Garrett character, I will say.
Well, and he
I feel like that was
agreed.
a really great character. And again, I like Jack Black, but he's not doing anything different than we've ever seen
Sure.
Jack Black
And so
do.
since you're
So,
seeing
yeah.
Momoa doing something a little bit more original, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, keep him in the, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. fair enough.
I think Garrett is a really good character that they should have used more or done more with. So
And I felt the movie straining because I don't know if I've mentioned, I think I did mention it real quick, but Jennifer Coolidge, she plays a high school principal, kind of falling into the Jack Black mode of not doing anything really different. She was good. She was funny, but she's playing that airheaded,
Yeah.
person. I'm not really kind of clueless in many ways, but it's still funny. She was playing that role, and they introduced her as the principal. They had a callback, but kind of similar to the Jason Momoa thing, they kept hitting it. And it was like, I get it, but you're telling the same joke over and over again.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything new with it. And then at the end, they have kind of a payoff with her character that finally I'm like, okay. But for me, it wasn't that amusing because I'm not that big a fan of the game. People in the audience seemed to really kind of think it was funny. Actually, at first, the people in the audience were mad about it because they said, no, that shouldn't be. That doesn't happen in the game.
Oh, I
and
see
then
what
they
you're
kind of came around to it. So
Are you talking about the one cameo? I did want to call it voice cameo of Matt Berry. The voice
Probably.
might have been involved. Yeah.
yes.
A voice, Matt Berry, one of my favorite actors right now.
Oh,
He's
okay.
in the What We Do in the Shadows TV show.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of other stuff. You've seen him in plenty of places, but that was the voice I think you're referring to
Okay.
late in the film.
Late in the film.
Yes.
Okay.
I did find that payoff funny.
I mean, it was just so labored by that point that I was like,
know.
okay, I get it. And so Jennifer Coolidge, like, kind of like Danielle Brooks, it was like they were put in there. And actually, the way they kept Jennifer Coolidge stays rooted in the real world. Okay. And there again, they kept pulling us out to kind of make this joke. But because they kept doing it, I kept thinking, you're just adding runtime. You're telling the same joke. You're just adding runtime. And so kind of like when they would keep making the garbage man jokes with Jason Momoa, it's like, or they split the team. That's when they really just split the team. Like, no, just keep them together and keep moving through the screen.
Yeah.
Don't add runtime for no reason. So that, I just thought it was unfortunate. But there again, probably bothers me and doesn't bother like fans of the game.
Well, I actually had an okay time with Jennifer Coolidge in her part. It was a little belabored, but I did have fun with it.
Okay.
I will say also, I did enjoy a couple other moments. Jermaine Clement got to play a part that I thought was fun and very different. And that scene worked for me.
You're talking the early scene before Momoa got,
Yeah.
and actually,
It's the storage.
the storage, storage unit owner kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the few times that I've seen, and I like Jermaine Clement too. He was almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And not only on top of that, but I think it might be the only time I've ever seen him where he has almost completely subverted his accent.
Oh, and the accent was gone.
And
it was
I was
great.
like, whoa.
I had to
that's why I was
really
like,
do a
I
double
think
take
that's
to
him,
see
but
if
that
it's
can't
him.
be him because he normally doesn't.
it was-
He just doesn't bother doing it. And I was like, whoa, it's gone. So
Those two, I thought those cameos, and Jennifer Coolidge's, was a little bit longer. She was in more scenes. Yeah, probably could have just done with 2 scenes with her,
Right.
like, get her in early in the film, and then you have a little coda with her at the end, something funny. You could have pulled that off, and that would have been enough of that. So,
well, I'll mention something positive, which I was kind of surprised when you mentioned it, and I looked. No, Jared Hess didn't write it.
yeah.
But some of the early and some of the stuff that actually worked better for me, once we got past the setup that wasn't good with Jack Black narrating everything, could have done without that. But some of the real world setup of Momoa being a loser and actually having to do with Henry, played by Sebastian Hansen, felt very Napoleon Dynamite-ish.
Yes.
And I enjoyed that because his sister, Emma Myers plays Natalie. She's like trying to help him because their mom has passed away and she's trying to get him. It's a new school type area. She's like, oh, we'll take this tater tot pizza to school. Tater tots reference to Napoleon Dynamite. So I was like, okay, but they don't overdo it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like there.
Nice little nod.
He develops a tater tot gun later, which is just
Yeah.
kind of weird but funny. So I was like, I like that. And the scenes in the school with Jennifer Coolidge, it's just this like odd oversharing principle. Funny.
Yes.
There's a school teacher moment where they're in a classroom and this teacher has this like never explain it, like this long hair metal hair and he's like saying all these really weird things. Funny. But I was actually curious at that point. I'm like, okay, this is working for me. If the whole movie's like this, I'm going to enjoy it.
That's what I was
But
hoping
I don't
for.
see this connecting with little kids because like Napoleon Dynamite, it's very like dry, kind of bizarre humor. And it either hits for you or it doesn't.
Well,
so I could see
see-
little kids being like, what is
Well, I
what
was
is
hoping
this?
at that point in that
Would be a
early
mixture.
setup stuff that there would be a good enough mixture that's like,
gotcha.
oh, okay, if that's the style humor we're going to go for. great. And you're going to mix that with some video game, colorful character things, elements in a weird world. All right, I'm on board for this. And it just, once the movie got going, I'm like, okay, they're not really interested in keeping that going. It's just devolving into a very basic, stereotypical video game adaptation movie at this point. So yeah, it's a shame. It had moments where it had me excited in that first 20, 30 minutes.
Agreed.
But it just kind of lost the steam. Unfortunately, once I think it got to the actual Minecraft world, after the first few minutes of just, oh wow, look, we're in a weird world, it was kind of like nothing was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I get that. Okay, I don't want to be that guy sitting there trying to nitpick and say, okay, but explain to me how this world works. I'm still not quite wrapping my head around it. I get it if I'm playing it as a video game, but if you're trying to like help me understand, okay, so did Steve build everything we see? Don't know. He kind of made it sound like it was already there when he got there, but then he said he built some other stuff.
Right.
And then,
yeah.
Okay. So then, but then it's also like you have to like mine things to get the cubes to make new things. So it's like, but I never saw anybody other than one or two times doing that.
Right.
But yet they were throwing blocks everywhere. It's like, just, you gotta give me a little bit of a rope to like pull on to understand the mechanics of this thing. I don't need you to I don't need a backstory for the Minecraft world. I don't need to know its original formation, but just make it a little more palatable for me. It's like, okay, all right, so I get it. At nighttime, these creepy things come out.
Right.
Okay, I don't need to know why, but is this now happening every night? And is this an every night thing?
Every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes. Okay, so that's the thing. But I felt like it only happened twice in the whole movie.
True.
It's like, if it happens every 20 minutes, we should be seeing this happen a lot more, right? So
yeah, if you're going to acknowledge that it happens every 20 minutes.
Anyway.
No,
give me some rules, give me some understanding of what the world is like and all that. So
I can totally see that. Here's what helped me a little bit with that. I knew enough about the game and I'd see my son play it, but the game, when I would see him play it, it didn't make any sense to me.
Okay,
and
true.
so I was like, okay, yeah, this doesn't make any sense in the movie, but that's kind of how the game is. Certain stuff is like, do what?
That's why it didn't ultimately affect my enjoyment. I get you. I was still looking back and I'm like, it's just, if you really want to make this a big blockbuster, like loved by all audiences.
You said blockbuster.
I did, yeah. If you want this to be loved by all audiences, you're going to have to,
you
got to give a little bit.
Sure.
Because again, I know this film had a big opening weekend. I don't know if it will continue to have big weekends.
Be interesting.
Because, I think it was really front loaded with all the fans.
Right.
But then there's people like us that are not the gamers that play this game.
No, yeah.
Do we have anything at all that we encourage people to go see this film for? Again, I'll say, I will say Garrett, as performed by Jason Momoa, I think is a fascinating character that I wish they had done something more interesting with, but I like the setup. I like him. So I would have liked to see more of that, but that's about it.
Yeah. And I think we can both agree that if there is another movie, which we think there might be, because this one was so successful.
Definitely will be.
So I couldn't understand why the title wasn't just Minecraft, because to me, a Minecraft movie is kind of a stupid title. But I guess I think we'll agree they're setting themselves up so the second one can just be called another Minecraft movie.
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah.
Well, that is Minecraft. Sounds like we were pretty similar in our thoughts. I mean, we gave it a fair shake. I do want to be very clear about that. I went in open-minded, ready to accept whatever the film wanted to provide me.
Sure.
I had some moments of entertainment, some moments I found entertaining. I thought a couple of the performances and a couple of the characters were very fun, but man, yeah, if it had been for that opening 5 minutes, I think my enjoyment of the film overall might have actually gone
increased
up like another half a star or so just from that. That just set such a bad taste in my mouth from the opening 5 minutes. So yeah,
I'll say one more thing. You kind of breezed over it, and not breezed, but you mentioned it, commenting on the CGI of the film. And you kind of know going in, just like when we were going in to see a different movie, Ant-Man Quantumania, you're like, I get it. This is going to be a lot of CGI because of the realm they're going into. And, it's just, they're going to do that instead of using practical sets. For this film too, it didn't bother me, except, and I'm going to fall down on the terminology here because I was good to be able to call Overworld the one part. wherever the angry pigs are ruling, which
Yeah.
is separate, that to me was terrible.
Oh, yeah. No, it was really
and,
bad.
Overworld was cool because, it was like, and it looked like the game. And yes, it was
Yeah.
CGI, but it was fun. I expected it. I thought it was good. But wherever the pig world was, the angry pigs like ruled
Pig
over
world.
it.
Yeah.
It was like dark. And it looked like, when we have complained, other critics have complained about dark battles done in Marvel movies where it's just all kind of like this mush, and that's what it looked like. Or we remember with the movie The Flash, we called it like the CGI toilet bowl or whatever.
right.
It was like, that's what I was like, oh goodness. Like, I hope they don't spend a lot of time there because it's bad. So
Yeah.
that was to me kind of shockingly bad. And maybe that's because in Minecraft, that's how that world looks. So, okay.
Yeah, but I kind of wish they had picked an aesthetic and stuck with it. I felt like at times they tried to make this world look a little too real. Or I kind of wish they had just kept everything very, very 8-bit, kind of very old school animation.
Okay.
Would have fit a lot better. And then when the people, whatever.
The villagers? No.
Yes.
Okay.
The villagers I thought looked bad.
Oh.
Because I felt like they were like over CGI'd.
Huh.
And like tried to make more human looking.
Okay.
And it just was a weird result. I'm like, no, just keep this whole thing. I mean, I have seen what the Minecraft world looks like that my kids play. It
Gotcha.
is not a high definition
No.
experience. So I don't want to look around and see anything rendered high definition in this world. It should be very much the lower resolution rendering that we see in the game. That would have worked for me as well. Real quick question before we move on and
Yes.
in this review.
Yes.
This voice is not credited in the cast list, but I'm just wondering. There was one of the angry pigs who was kind of the big heavy for most of the film, but also has a very pleasant, nice voice.
Malgosha?
Maybe
Was it the big one that had the staff that the crystal went away from?
not the leader.
Okay, not Malgosha.
No, but like her number one, big heavy pig guy
Okay.
that went in and tried to chase down these guys, but then she turned him into a piece of meat. I guess that's what they do with the pigs at one point. But he's like he's super. It sounds like Andy Samberg. Is what I'm getting at. But Andy
okay.
Samberg is not
Yeah.
listed anywhere in the cast,
Okay.
and I don't know if it's because he's uncredited or if it wasn't actually him, just somebody who sounded just like him.
Well, it's interesting to me too because Jared Hess has worked with Jack Black on Nacho Libre. And he worked with him here. He's worked with Jermaine Clement on Gentleman Broncos. So it's kind of like a family and friends type thing.
Yeah.
And also some of actually the humor, Napoleon Dynamite, but you could also say it was kind of Taika Waititi, which he's worked with Jermaine Clement and Brett McKenzie,
Yeah.
the Flight of the Conchords. So it's, and the whole time I was thinking Malgosha, I recognized that voice. Who is it? And it was a Taika Waititi favorite, Rachel House.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was a lot of huge cast, a lot of little cameos here. And
So
there.
I'm looking at the cast list. I think the one playing the voice that I thought was Andy Samberg is not Andy Samberg. I think it's actually Jared Hess.
Oh, okay.
Jared Hess did a voice of General Chungus.
Okay.
And I think that's what I'm talking about. Chungus was like the number one pig
Okay.
under the leader. He like the big, stout, heavy guy,
Gotcha.
but talks like super cool and nice. Like, hey guys, what's up?
Right,
Type of thing.
right.
Yeah. It totally sounded like Andy Samberg, but I'm pretty sure it's Jared
Jared
Hess
Hess.
because it shows
Okay.
him as having played that voice.
The name-
My apologies, Jared. I didn't mean to.
Right.
If you were
I
pulling
mean-
an Andy Samberg, it was very convincing. It
There
was
you
very
go.
good.
So the name of the high school or school and place where these people live, what was it like? Chung? Is there some
Yeah,
joke
there's
that's
like Chug City, Chug Land, something.
is that a Minecraft reference that I just don't get? Because it's
I
like,
don't
okay,
know.
that's a very bizarre name for where these people just,
I do not
don't
know.
threw me off. Okay. I was just wondering if you knew like
Nope.
what the explanation behind that was.
I do not. Did not understand.
Or
And if it
the-
was covered in that 5-minute horrible exposition, I did not catch it. So.
Or the fact that they were really into potato chips, which I thought was odd.
Yeah,
Maybe they're all about tater tots, potato chips.
could be. Anyway, look, it's not horrible, but there wasn't a lot to it. Not a lot to keep me that terribly engaged. But fans of the game, I'm sure will find plenty to cheer about and enjoy with it. But if you're not a fan of the game, not familiar with the game really well, It's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. I don't know if I could really recommend it to anybody. My wife loves Jason Momoa.
Okay. Don't
I
know. if she'll
got, I
be-
got a chance when this comes out on video. I'm sure this will be playing at some point in my house, but that's okay.
So your hot garbage tip would be a recommendation
garbage tip.
or a not recommendation?
I don't know. I think she's forgotten that he was even in the movie, so I'm hoping maybe
You might be safe.
I might be safe on that. All right. That is a Minecraft movie. Still in theaters. Will be in theaters for a little while. It's doing well. So that is our review. Let's take a quick break, Chris. We come back. We've got a news item, very important, breaking news item.
Okay.
Very excited to talk
It
about.
might be April Fool's.
There's still a little chance it is, but
Okay.
I don't think it is. And then a couple of trailers we're going to play, and then your recommendation as well. So stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
Welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. We had our review of a Minecraft movie in the first half of the show, but as always, Chris, we're going to turn our attention towards future things in coming to the movie theaters as we talk about some news and play a couple trailers as well. So here's the news, Chris. I want to just jump right in with this.
All right.
According to Variety, and I am going to go on the idea that Variety says it has been confirmed, it has not been marked as an April Fool's joke, even though it was released on April 1st, 2025. But I've verified it in many other places.
Okay.
They're saying it's legit.
So this is, if it is a joke, it'll be one of the best played jokes. But no. What?
Yeah, but no, this is supposedly serious.
Okay.
David Fincher,
Okay.
director, we know. Last film he did was The Killer with Michael Fassbender, I believe.
I think you're right.
I think before that was Mank.
Yeah.
I think that's right. He is going to be directing a sequel to a film. Have you heard about this? You have heard about this.
No, I have not. But let me guess, since you think it's an April Fool's joke. No, but you act like it's cool that he's directing this. So the only thing that I would think that you would think was cool, like an unbelievable thing, like he's doing Inside Out 3 or something. But no, you're actually like, so if it's a sequel, but you're not saying it's a franchise. I was going to say like him doing a James Bond film or something would be interesting. Okay, what?
All right. Okay.
I give up.
Directing a sequel
Okay.
to a film that maybe came out 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
By another, the film he's doing a sequel to was a film done by also a very big name director, Mr. Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is writing a film that David Fincher is going to direct.
Yeah, that sounds like a April Fool.
It does, but I tell you, look it up. It's not.
Okay. What?
It is a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Written by Tarantino, directed by David Fincher, and it is all about Cliff Booth, the Brad Pitt character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Now, does it take place after or we don't know?
Doesn't say.
Okay.
Just says Brad Pitt will reprise his role as stuntman and potential wife killer Cliff Booth.
I hope it's true because that would be interesting. I've read the book because, he wrote the screenplay, made the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then he wrote a book that was kind of like an expanded version that kind of gave you a little bit more insight into some of the characters. And I really liked the book. I mean, I liked the movie and I really liked the book. So it doesn't surprise me that he kind of could take it and kind of run with it. But I guess if it was a true April Fool's joke, they would have Quentin Tarantino doing that, like directing it. Because I think I don't see him as being wanting to return
Other
to it,
publications or Deadline's reporting the same thing and even saying it's no April Fool's joke.
Okay.
Here's the other interesting thing. It's going straight to Netflix because David Fincher has a Netflix arrangement.
Right. And
So it will not
did he
be a
do
theatrical.
Mindhunter as well?
He did the show,
some of
Mindhunter,
those. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. So Tarantino writing the script.
Okay.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a sequel to that film. So yes, even Deadline, Variety all said like, hey, yeah, we get it. This is April Fool's Day. We need to vet this. We are vetting it, but
Wow.
it is, yes, Brad Pitt got Tarantino's blessing to show Pitt 7 director David Fincher the script that focuses on subsequent, so later
Okay.
adventures
Right.
of the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Cliff Booth character. And because Fincher is exclusive to Netflix, the movie, if it gets made, but
If
they're-
it gets made.
I know they're saying it's all the people are in place, but
Right.
it will be financed and released by Netflix straight to streaming. I am excited.
Well, and Tarantino,
I am a big fan of the Cliff Booth character from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
it's kind of, in one sense to me, it's surprising that Tarantino would be willing to let something that has his name somehow attached to it go straight to streaming. But because he's all about, he has the new Beverly out in California that's all like, showing things on 35 millimeter in film.
Mm-hmm.
However, he did do this thing with The Hateful Eight on Netflix where he like cut it up and released it into episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think he's open to different types of,
Yeah.
well,
Well, just
presentation.
the
So
idea of Fincher and Tarantino
working together.
working together, like having a production that is bringing their talent together. I'm fascinated by that.
Well, and
how would David Fincher? How is David Fincher going to shoot and present a Tarantino?
because you
based
think
film?
about sensibilities, and they're like, they're not,
Yeah.
they don't really seem to be.
But I think it's what kind of exciting. So,
That and the fact that they are having Brad Pitt come back. So okay,
yeah. So Cliff Booth continues to live on Netflix. It looks like possibly directed by.
but and
Still
also
David
something
Fincher.
that gives me hope because I don't know, I'm just built this way. I like movies as opposed to series. So it's
Yeah.
not a series. It is a
No, they're
movie.
saying it is a film. It is
Okay.
a movie.
Yay.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the big news.
Okay.
It is reported everywhere. So again, I know it came out on April Fool's Day. It is a bad day to release any news without it being questioned. But I think we're pretty confident that this is no joke. It is happening or planning to happen at this point. So that is the deal.
Okay.
All right. Good. Okay. Got that out of the way. Let's play a couple trailers.
Sure.
So Chris, got one trailer that is a sequel to a reboot version of a franchise, and then one that is a true reboot of a franchise.
Okay.
So we're playing in franchise world today, it sounds like, and we know Minecraft is going to become a franchise. So that's all we're about.
Safe
today.
to say,
Even the
yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is now becoming a franchise. So yeah,
True.
it's all over. Were you a fan? I can't remember if we even talked about the Tron Legacy film, which was the long delayed sequel to Tron.
Right.
I think we talked about it on the show.
I had the intern look it up
you
before the
did?
show
Okay,
because
good.
I'd mentioned, I saw that you were going to do Tron.
Which intern did you use? Did you use
the highly
Jim
paid one.
or Joan? Yeah, we have like two, but I
Right.
just want to make sure I knew which one you used.
I think Joan was the one who
Joan got it.
went
Okay,
into-
good. Good job, Joan.
But
I wanna give
the
her
show,
props.
Volcano Film, started in 2011,
Okay.
and Tron Legacy came out in 2010.
Okay, so we just missed it.
We didn't review it. We may have made passing references to it.
So
but-
Tron Legacy, Tron was a film, back in the 80s, came out by Disney. Was kind of a little bit of a flop at the time. I mean, it was
Yes.
didn't quite hit with audiences like they hoped. But it's one of those that built a lot of steam in the 20, 30 years afterwards, where
Right.
people look nostalgically back at it and, realize how groundbreaking it was when it came out back in the 80s and acknowledging that. So we had Tron Legacy come out 2011, as you said, I thought that was okay. I didn't think it was great, but I think it was more of a style over substance thing. I think it looked cool and it felt cool and it sounded cool.
Well,
but the story didn't really work from what I remember. So
No, and I think I remember seeing the original Tron in the theater, and just because the concept was so out there, to me it appealed as a kid. But yeah, it did not look like the technology wasn't there to try to do what they were trying to do. And I think that was to me, Tron Legacy, which I didn't really appreciate. I think I gave it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. I can see why they would redo it, because they're like, no, now we have the technology and the computer graphics to make this look cool. So now we're not gonna redo it because it was a sequel, but we're gonna take advantage of it. The shame is the story wasn't really there. So,
Yeah, see, I couldn't even tell you what the story was. I don't recall.
I can't
do know
either.
that Jeff Bridges was kind of CGI inserted into the film, a younger de-age version.
Right. And I think it was like his son goes looking for him. I
Yeah,
think
his
is
son
what-
goes looking for his dad. His dad was whatever the name of Jeff Bridges' character was.
Flynn.
Flynn, that's it. Looking for Flynn. Gets sucked into the world. And yeah, I just remember there's like light bike chases and, all the stuff people who love the original or like think about the original nostalgically wanted to see. It was in there. But I do remember that the film ended with the girl that he meets inside the Tron world.
Oh, you remember a lot more than I do.
She made it out.
Oh.
Like they actually are riding together on a bike, like in the real world at the end of the film.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
did
That
not
is
remember
a
that.
little bit of the setup here.
Okay.
So we have all this to say. This is a long lead up, but
Sure.
Tron Ares is a new Tron movie coming out.
Okay.
And they have released a trailer for it.
Okay.
Keeping in mind what I said about, I'm pretty confident Tron Legacy ended with these computerized characters now able to make it into our world.
Got you.
Okay, so just knowing that's the premise, let's check out the trailer for Tron Ares.
Cyclist exceeding speeds of 120 miles per hour. Last seen heading northbound.
Unit 12, acknowledging dispatch. Already in pursuit.
I'm looking for something. Something I do not understand.
So that was the trailer, teaser trailer, it's considered, for Tron Ares. Chris, it looks like it does take place in the, quote, real world, or at least the whole trailer seemed to show that.
And they're hinting that worlds are colliding. So
Colliding.
yes, I would agree that it seems
We've
like
got some shots of Jared Leto, who is in the film.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. There's that. And Greta Lee, who I do like. She was in the preview as well. And then you got the nice little plug at the end about original music from Nine Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, that's what we've got going for us. What's your take so far, just on that very quick teaser trailer of Tron Ares?
So to me, it looks like I'm interested in seeing it. It looks cool, which I would expect because they could make Tron Legacy look cool. It looks like it may be a little bit more substantive as far as story because it's like you mentioned, it does take place in the real world, but it's colliding like an AI takeover of the real world. Like maybe that's the story. Visuals of almost Blade Runner-esque of like cars flying around, all this kind of. Seems like an interesting idea. It'll all come back to the story, which, who knows, but it does look cool. I am interested in seeing it. Daft Punk did the score for Tron Legacy, which I remember was like a big buzzing around that. Nine Inch Nails doing the score for this sound. Yep, that makes sense. And the music does sound great. So my one sticking point, just because, Jared Leto for me just is very hit or miss. And the last thing I remember seeing him in was Morbius. So because I actually did see that. That kind of concerns me, but maybe he's going to play a mustache twirling bad guy. I don't know. If so, I could see him doing very well at that. So I don't know. Did we hear any of Jeff Bridges in that?
So I was just going to say,
Okay.
I'm
Because
looking
we
through
hear a
the
lot of like, there's some narration, some voice.
I'm looking through the IMDb listing.
Okay.
And, Greta Lee has got top billing on the film. So she and Jared Leto are kind of, I think, stars of the film. So that's good.
That is good. Greta Lee, for me, is good. Yeah.
Gillian Anderson is also in the film.
Oh.
Which is good as well.
Cool.
Like that. Jeff Bridges is listed in the cast.
Okay.
As Kevin Flynn. Now, whether it's a de-age version, old version, we don't know. But
Got you.
A couple other names of characters or actors I really like. Evan Peters is in it.
Speaking of American Animals
last week. Yep.
Okay.
Cameron Monaghan, who was in the Gotham TV show. He played the pseudo Joker character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very good also.
Yeah.
Jodie Turner Smith. I'm trying to recall where I know her from, but
Name is really familiar.
yeah. So anyway, there's some other actors in here that
Okay.
I think sound really interesting. It's directed by Joachim Ronning, who is from Norway.
Oh,
But he has directed several other films. He did the Maleficent, Mistress of Evil film, which was the sequel to Maleficent.
okay,
that
which I
came
never
out.
saw. I saw
Never
the first
saw
one,
that
but didn't
either,
say.
yeah.
Okay.
He did the film Kon-Tiki, like a dramatic film of Kon-Tiki back in 2012.
Okay.
And he did, I don't know how I feel about this. He did the Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, which I did not see that particular one, I don't believe.
Okay.
That's the one that has Javier Bardem in it.
Okay, I did see that. one. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of his filmography. Little hit or miss as far as what's coming to bringing to the table there. Written by Jesse Wigatow.
Okay.
And he has written not a lot. The one thing he's got on his credits is kind of a bigger project that I'm actually in the midst of watching right now, which is Daredevil Born Again,
Okay.
the Daredevil series on Disney Plus. He is a writer on that show, which I'm actually really liking that show. So that's not a bad sign.
So here's and okay, so the title, Tron, Ares, God of War, can't remember.
Ares is Jared Leto.
Okay, that bodes well.
Yeah. Jared Leto is Ares.
Okay, that bodes well
is,
because Ares is either the Greek or Roman, can't remember, God of War. But Ares being like, so that seems like that is going to be a bad character, Jared Leto playing bad.
I don't know. Actually,
really?
I think he's going to be the hero, Chris.
Really? Okay.
Because the tagline, the summary for Tron Ares is a highly sophisticated program, Ares, is sent from the digital world into the real world on a dangerous mission.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got a feeling Jared Leto may be the hero of this film.
Okay, well, I'm still going to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because I try to give all movies the benefit of the doubt. See a Minecraft movie. But I'm hoping third time's the charm. I'm hoping Tron Ares is going to be the Tron movie. I'll be like, you know what?
If they could take, if they take the original spirit of the original, they take the visuals and the look and the sound and the feel from the second one, Tron Legacy, and actually give it a story that's kind of an interesting, fun story, then you got Tron Ares, and I'm on board. I like the look of the teaser trailer we saw. I love this idea of these it's like a gigantic, some of these monolithic looking spaceships that we saw in the original Trons or inside the digital world now floating outside in the real world. It's a cool visual.
Almost causing like a Godzilla type of
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
That works for me.
That works. But now give me a story. Don't just base it on spectacle. Don't just give it.
Sure.
Just because you got great thumping music and great visuals, that's not enough to make a movie. It's got to have a story to it. So we'll see if it does that. Okay. That is Tron Ares. All right, Chris, we're going to flip to something very, very completely different.
Okay.
As I look outside the window of our podcast studio here, we have a wall of posters, movie posters, all up and down our hallways here.
Yes.
One of them, one of my favorite movie posters, is the movie poster for The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad.
Yes.
That is Leslie Nielsen
Yes.
doing the Naked Gun movies.
Of which they had 3.
He did 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Diminishing returns with each of them. But the first one, let's just focus on
and
the
it's a
first one.
Zucker Brothers joint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I still think it is one of my favorite funny movies.
Okay.
I loved Leslie Nielsen. As a kid, as a teenager when that movie came out, no idea who Leslie Nielsen was.
No, absolutely
And
not.
all I know him now is Frank Drebin from The Naked Gun and Police Squad, the TV show.
Right.
So, yes. So when I heard they were going to be rebooting The Naked Gun, I was leery.
Sure.
Because I've seen when you try to take a classic comedy film and try to redo it, it never works. You just can't match that same magic necessarily. But then I heard that it's going to be some of the guys from The Lonely Island making the film.
Okay,
Did you not know that?
I did not know. I knew who was going to be in the lead role of the Frank Drebin character.
Yep.
That I did know. But
it's Akiva Schaffer's directing the film.
Okay.
He directed Saturday Night. He's directed Pop Star, Never Stop Stopping.
Great.
Never Stop, Never Stopping. Yeah. His producer Seth MacFarlane is a producer on the film.
Okay.
Ted, Family Guy, all
Yep.
that. You got people like, let's see, CCH Pounder. You got Paul Walter Hauser in this thing.
Okay.
So there's some talent. Okay. But then who plays Lieutenant Frank Drebin Jr.?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was playing his son, but
It is a Mr. Liam Neeson.
which I'm like, okay. And then I say that because of his role in the Lego movie, where he was the voice of the cranky cop in the Lego movie. So I know he can do comedy. And just because I'm imagining him playing it that way, like gruff, like him being in a Taken movie, but being in a comedy, I'm like, yep, that could work.
All right. Well, let's take a look at this. Film also has Pamela Anderson in it too. But
Okay.
This is a very quick teaser. I've already seen it. It's only a minute long.
I have
It's
not
a
seen it.
very, very quick teaser.
Okay.
But let's just see your thoughts on the new version of The Naked Gun. Here we go.
Multiple SWAT units responding to hostage situation.
Hey, little girl, stop.
What do you want, little one?
Your ass.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Who are you?
So that was the teaser trailer for the new Naked Gun starring Mr.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Already drew a blank. Sorry.
It's okay.
Chris, what'd you think of this?
Good. I am excited. It is exactly what I was hoping for. He seems to be maintaining a little bit of the gruff, cool exterior. But yes, obviously still in a Naked Gun movie. That teaser is everything I could have possibly hoped for. I hope I don't see any other, although it's probably not possible, any other things for it, because
you know it's not going to happen.
that was an awesome scene. And like, I loved it. Here's something else I hope, which judging from that teaser, I'm assuming, which I don't know if they can do this because I don't know how rights issues work and what they have to guarantee the rights. But if they actually made it R, they'll probably go PG-13. But there has to at least be PG-13 because that opening scene was pretty violent.
Yeah, no, it'll be a PG-13. I guarantee. I guarantee it.
But I think if like you lean, like it could be, it could be pretty funny. You know?
Well, that's the thing is that Frank Drebin was never a aggressive, violent
but it would
character.
Be funny
it would be
if
funny. No, I think it'd be hilarious.
That's what, like I don't know if they could do it, but if they made an R version, that would actually be really funny because he's like, I'm excited to see it. It looks funny. Hopefully it'll be good. Both this and the Tron film are going both to theaters, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Going both to theaters. Yeah, I think Naked Gun is looking at August.
Okay.
August 1 release date, and Tron Ares was
October.
So both are coming out this year. Chris, you will be happy to hear as we look at the specs on IMDb about the Naked Gun.
Less than 120 minutes.
Hour 25.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a nice, tight comedy. So.
And get in, get out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
85 minutes. That's per hour 25. Yeah.
Yep. So that's awesome. There you go. That's the sweet spot there.
I think most like Minecraft could have it was still shorter. It was less than 2 hours. But yeah, I feel like 10 minutes could have been taken off of it.
Oh, sure.
Very easily. Awesome.
Okay, well, we will see what happens with The Naked Gun when it comes out in August of this year, as well as Tron Ares in October. So, Chris, got some interesting films coming up here later this year, and don't know a date on the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel, but that's still like just announced, so I'm sure we're still at least a year and a half, 2 years away from that.
Because Tarantino himself, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but I guess next year he's going to do his final film.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
But if things go as scheduled, I mean, that's always
it's The Critic, I think was the last title I heard.
Yes. I think he goes through several versions of titles and even plots of films before he actually solidifies his final one. So no telling. But let's go back in time a little bit. Let's look at a film that's already come out that you would like to recommend to us. This is Chris's patented recommendations for us. He likes to peruse the video libraries and give us a recommendation of a film he either just caught up with or got to see for the first time. Either way, Chris, what are you recommending for us today?
So I'm actually going to recommend a 2025 film just recently left theaters, I think. Stayed there for a little while, which is why I was curious about it, but never ended up catching up with it in theaters. It is One of Them Days. It is now on Netflix, which is how I caught up with it. It just recently came there. First-time director Lawrence Lamont. It tells the story of two best friends and roommates, Drew and Alyssa, are about to have one of them days. When they discover Alyssa's boyfriend has blown their rent money, the duo finds themselves going to extremes in a comical race against the clock to avoid eviction and keep their friendship intact. The two friends, played by Keke Palmer and SZA. Keke Palmer I was familiar with from her work with Nope. SZA, I knew that she was a musical artist, but other than that, didn't really know much about her. They're great in this. And, this film, we talk about, a Minecraft movie, not something that I would have thought would be, and it ended up not being really my thing. One of them days I was like, okay, this is, about two women, like their bonds of friendship and everything. Probably not my type of thing, but I see generally positive reviews about it.
There has been.
And it's a comedy. So I was like, you know what? Sure. I was surprised at how entertained I was, how much I liked it, and their comic timing. And also, the most important thing is you have to believe these people are friends. And Alyssa's boyfriend blowing the rent, you're like, okay, that's pretty big deal. You guys are going to be evicted.
Yeah.
But then you understand, no, Drew and her, you get it that no, there's a lot there. They support each other. Yes, it was crappy that her boyfriend spent the money, but you get it. And that you believe that almost instantaneously. So I really had a good time with it. I can see why it kind of hung around in theaters for a little while.
Right. Yeah.
And so, I recommend checking it out on Netflix. It's 97 minutes, which there again, less than 2 hours. That's important.
I was anxious to see this just because it performed really well. Box office wise, it hung around the theaters for a good while. I think it got some great reviews. And I was like, on the surface, you give me the short line description. It doesn't sound like anything I'm terribly interested in, but like you said, I hear it's really good. And so I'm actually excited to hear somebody else I know saw it and can agree with that. So I look forward to seeing it too.
I think it's kind of the opposite reaction in a way that I had to Booksmart.
Yeah.
Booksmart, there was a lot of hype about that. It was kind of this friendship between these friends, and they were, it was a high school type movie too, which maybe that coming of age thing kind of made me not as big a fan of that film as most other critics are of Booksmart. But this one, I don't know, it was and it's a limited time frame too. They've got so many hours. They keep flashing that up on screen as they're trying to get money and do things. I don't know. It was just well-paced, funny. So One of Them Days, streaming on Netflix.
Great.
I recommend it.
Good. Thank you for that recommendation, Chris. It is on my watch list already. I had on the watch list this past weekend when I saw it was there. But I was hoping to hear some other positives, and I've got them, so I'm on board. Great. All right. I think, that will wrap us up for today, Chris. So we had our review of a Minecraft movie. We teased the news about Brad Pitt, David Fincher, and Tarantino working together on a interesting sequel idea going to Netflix. And then we showed the trailers for Tron Ares and the new Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson. Both interesting projects. I think I'm with you. I'm more excited about the Naked Gun. I'm more excited for it.
Sure.
I'm more interested in what's going to be Tron Ares.
Right.
To see where they go with that. And hoping they can come out of that with something good. That would be really great if they could.
Sure.
So, and then your recommendation of just one of those days. So, all right, Chris, if anybody had any thoughts, questions, feedback for us on anything we talked about, how can they get a hold of us?
You can send an email to info@footcandle.org. You can follow us on the various forms of social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Alan and I are on the website Letterboxd, where we try to leave quick takes of what we're seeing, or at least track what we're seeing. Do us a favor. Give us a star rating, write a review, share with friends on whatever service you receive your favorite podcast on, because it could help us reach new listeners, and we'd appreciate that. Other than at the intro, I don't think we had mentioned or talked much about the Foot Candle Film Festival.
Yes.
That is coming up, the 2025 version, September 19th through the 28th. So if you're going to be in Western North Carolina, specifically Hickory, North Carolina, come check it out. It'll be a good time.
It will be. It will be. A lot of excitement there. We're going to be making a lot of announcements about the festival lineup and tickets going on sale in probably mid-July, somewhere mid to late July. So kind of keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, go ahead and mark off the dates, though. Get them on your calendar. No excuses. I don't want to hear anybody tell me it's like, oh, no, if I had just known a little bit earlier, I wouldn't have scheduled this other vacation trip. It's like, no. You are staying here in Western North Carolina
Save the
with
dates.
us. September 19th through the 28th. That's the whole breadth of the
whole
festival.
Shebang, yeah.
There'll be more stuff going on in the 24th through the 28th.
Correct.
Proper weekend there. But, look, we'd love for you to come to the whole thing.
Sure.
Come see everything with us. All right. That'll wrap us up then. We are done. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll look forward to talking to everybody next time. Take care.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.